Okay, so today we have our atomic structure review. We do have our exam tomorrow. It's going to be a little less than 25 questions, 22 or 23, depending on whether it's pre-AP or regular. And for that, we are going to review today to make sure you are prepared for your exam tomorrow. Now, with our atomic structure review, there are a few different things that we are going to focus on, and one of them is Roy G. Biv. This isn't something we've covered in depth in class yet, so I wanted to make sure we had a chance to review it quickly today. You can see here it's called Roy G. Biv. That's an abbreviation to try to help you remember the different orders of the wavelengths and the colors in our visible spectrum. You have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So that acronym Roy G. Biv is a good method to remember, to write down to remember the order of our different colors here. As we start off, if you follow the mouse, we have it here with red. Red, this top section of the spectrum, and you're probably going to want to label this in your notebook. Red is going to be our longest wavelength, our lowest energy, and our lowest frequency. Up here at the top, long wavelength, low energy, low frequency. As we move down, as we go from red down towards violet, our wavelength decreases and our frequency and energy increase. Meaning, when we get down here towards violet, you can see the difference in the wave. They are happening more frequently. There are more waves here. Therefore, the frequency in violet is going to be much higher than the frequency in red. When we get to violet, our frequency is going to increase, our energy is going to increase, and our wavelength is going to decrease. So frequency and energy have that direct relationship, meaning when frequency goes up, energy goes up. When frequency goes down, energy goes down. And both have an inverse or indirect relationship with wavelength, because as frequency goes up, wavelength will go down. As frequency goes down, wavelength will go up. Just like if we look up here, frequency is decreasing. The waves are happening less frequently, so frequency is decreasing, but the waves are getting longer, so wavelength is increasing. So that is an inverse relationship. So this chart right here, this is really going to be something you want to have in your notes. This Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And you're going to want to label up here. We have longer wavelengths, we have lower energy, and we have lower frequency. And down here, you're really going to want to label that we have a higher frequency, a shorter wavelength, and a higher energy. Because remember, anytime we have high frequency, we also have high energy. And so Roy G. Biv is very important going forward. And you're going to get a chance today to wear some different glasses. It's going to help you see how these colors come into play even in our everyday classroom. This is just writing down those relationships I was just discussing with energy, frequency, and wavelength. Energy and frequency have a direct relationship, meaning both increase together. As energy increases, frequency increases. As energy decreases, frequency decreases. So those are always going to be together. Wavelength, on the other hand, is the opposite. It's an inverse relationship, meaning as frequency increases, wavelength will decrease. So those are important things to note, and you can use those with the Roy G. Biv chart that you just had on the previous slide just a second ago. So if you want to go back and look at that, that can be helpful for you. For our review today, you're going to complete all the questions. They are going to mirror the exam very, very closely. If you complete this review today and complete it on your own with a little bit of help from a neighbor or help from me, but really ensure you understand it, you are going to be successful tomorrow on the exam. One way to ensure your success even more is to highlight in your notebook the notes that you use on today's review. The notes you use on today's review are going to be the exact same notes that you're going to use tomorrow. That will help you navigate your notebook a lot better. You're not just looking at a whole bunch of things written down and you don't even know what to use. If you look at question 1 and you use a certain part of your notebook, highlight those notes and maybe label the type of question you used it for. Like if you're solving for a mass number, highlight the equation for mass number and write a side note, if I'm solving for mass number, use this equation. That way you can draw your attention to the right place in your notebook, and that way you'll get a much better grade on the exam. So I really encourage that highlighting in your notebook, what notes you actually use, and then if you have questions, if there's things you don't understand, you need to really make sure that you bring those up to me to make sure you are ready for tomorrow. Now when this is all over, we will play a Kahoot, so work well with your group, work well individually, and try to get through this review. But most importantly, rather than just getting through it, don't just copy off a neighbor, don't do anything like that. You really want to make sure that you understand the material because you are going to be the one taking the exam tomorrow. Good luck, and if you have questions, please ask.